Good morning, everybody. It's Positive Tuesday today, February 18th, 2025. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden, and you're watching The Big Show, Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. With 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. Like Fitzy and I, they believe it's the little things that make a big difference. Give them a call today. See what they can do for you. The number's right there on the screen, 715-520-2271. Fitzy, good morning.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Great. I heard a rumor that we're going to like Dirk's forecast at least the end of the week.
I did not know that, actually. So he sent it this morning, but I haven't even looked at it. We should probably start there.
I don't want to know about today, but because today is really cold and there's no schools or 2-hour delays, and just stay warm. That's all we got to say today. Just till noon, and then every day it's going to get warmer is what I was told. So we'll see.
On that note, I have a gripe, and you need to kind of settle me down there because I got a little fired up for no particular reason other than I don't know, whatever. But yeah, let's start with the weather. Here is. We're putting this at the beginning of the show because obviously it's a little topical right now. Today, high of 0 to 5.
Yeah, ooh. It'll be tough to make it there, but because it's 18 below right now, it says.
Is it really?
That's what it says.
Let's see what my AccuWeather is, which is usually long on weather and short on Accu. Minus 20 here in Spooner.
Wow, colder in Spooner.
Yeah. Good morning, Dirk. Oh yeah. So let's get back to we're doing your forecast at the very beginning here, Dirk. So how does that look going forward there, Fitzy? Oh, wow, 25 to 30 by Saturday.
If you go to Sunday, it might say 40. I heard Sunday was going to be in the 40s.
What?
We'll be wearing shorts and I'll be outside.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little cold. So I have a gripe.
Okay, what is it?
And maybe some understanding as well. I need someone to explain this to me. So starting yesterday around 11 or 12, Dirk says up to 15 below.
It's up to 15 at Rice Lake already. Wow, it's warming up already. Here we go.
Oh, my goodness gracious. So my gripe is this. So school closings started around, well, at least yesterday, because we had a couple of days. Obviously, yesterday, President's Day, some schools weren't even open, et cetera, whatever. But yesterday started around 11 or 12, started having some schools already announcing, like, okay, holy cow, it's going to be freaking cold, not safe for the students. A lot of them already shut down around 11 or 12 o'clock yesterday. But it didn't really finish until around 7 o'clock, like Rice Lake and Barron. I think Barron just basically does whatever Rice Lake does. At least that's what I've noticed when doing the school closings. So they waited until probably like 6 or 7 last night, and that's fine. I understand that. But interestingly, there were 3 schools when I went to bed that still had 2-hour delays. One of them then changed. I can't remember what it was. So there was just 2 left. That was Birchwood and New Auburn. Well, Birchwood still is the only school in our area that has a 2-hour delay. And I understand.
Did New Auburn change?
New Auburn did. So I'll get to that in a second. So Birchwood didn't change, and Dirk could certainly speak to this, how weather really is. I mean, he has to kind of do this weather forecast, and that's like for our area. Well, there's a big difference between, well, maybe not a big difference, but there's going to be a difference between Amory and Polk County and Radisson in Sawyer County. That's like a 2.5 hour drive. There's a difference there. But Birchwood's kind of right in the middle of all this stuff. And by the way, I'm sorry. Good morning, Sharon. I'm really interested to hear what Sharon and good morning, Stacy, what you guys' thoughts are on this, that it's a 2-hour delay. I feel like we need a little more uniformed approach to this, right? Because how do we have a 2-hour delay in Birchwood when I understand that weather's different from one place to another, but Birchwood's right in the middle of all the other ones, and it's a 2-hour delay. That seems weird. So that's like one part. Like, how is summer just a 2-hour delay and summer closed? And the second part is New Auburn waited until like 5 minutes before 7 o'clock this morning. And parents, if you have students in New Auburn, are going, you go into the night last night thinking that it's okay, 2-hour delay, but they even said, well, we'll maybe announce on our Facebook page on Tuesday morning if it's going to be canceled. And 5 minutes before 7 o'clock, they then canceled school. But all these people are trying to plan their day, and like, why wouldn't you just do that anyway? It just seems stupid. So explain this to me, even though you're not a superintendent.
Okay, so I had a lot of conversations with superintendents yesterday on this issue. A couple things. I think even when I was going to school, and I know that was a long time ago, we had a lot more 2-hour delays. But in today's world, I understand, and talking with some of our superintendents, not yesterday, but through my career, busing is the issue. So you can't have 2-hour delays anymore because a lot of these bus drivers choose to drive bus in the morning and then they go to a different job. So the bus drivers used to do this. Maybe it was retired people and they would just drive in the morning and drive at night. Well, there's less people to do that. So there's not the ability to get your buses. There isn't bus drivers at 10 a.m. to go pick up kids. And that's why schools don't really close early anymore, because a lot of those bus drivers aren't done with their jobs until 2 o'clock. And then they go to the bus garage and maybe drive for the last hour and a half. So A lot of our 2-hour closings, I think, has to do with busing. We don't give our bus drivers enough credit, I don't think. It's National Crossing Guard Week. Our crossing guards haven't had to work for a couple of days, so that's good for them. That's the tough job, standing out there and making sure our kids cross the street. So thank you to all our crossing guards. But our bus drivers, again, need a little bit more kudos. They put up with a lot. They put up with angry parents when they kick kids off the bus because no one thinks their kid does wrong. A lot of that goes into all of this, but it's really busing that runs a lot of our 2-hour delays. So can't have it. Some smaller schools, maybe they can because they have less busing. But yeah, I read a neat article, not a neat article, but a different article on school closings. And, a lot of kids get driven to school by parents now. They don't ride the bus. Busing is different because there is less bus drivers. So busing routes have to change. Some people have to walk to a corner rather than getting picked up at their house, things like that all go into play. And that goes into, well, then I can't have somebody wait for a school bus because, frostbite happens in 5 minutes rather than 15 minutes. And sometimes the bus might be delayed because, if I wait an extra minute to get on the bus on the next kid, the bus is delayed 2 minutes. So there's delays in that. So a lot of thought goes into this from our superintendents. A lot of discussion goes into this. We had some discussion yesterday about it. Some canceled right away. Some wanted to wait because the weather isn't always accurate. And sometimes it does change, especially with snow. Not so much with cold, but with snow, that wind shifts it. And it doesn't snow at all in Rice Lake. And it all snows a lot in Spooner when it was supposed to be vice versa. So a lot of it goes into play with the 2-hour delays. But yeah, I agree. Parents need more time to plan.
That's like the biggest thing, right? Just give us more time. You can't wait until 5 minutes to 7 to make the announcement.
Like
right?
You and I don't have kids, and your kids can stay home by themselves.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal. But if you have a second grader, it's tough. I mean, I have some
people with their jobs. They're like, well, am I going to be 2 hours late for work tomorrow, or am I not going to work tomorrow? And I'm sure these people have to contact their daycare if it's going to be a situation like that, or their grandparents if they're going to watch them. And it's like, well, I just don't know. So we're just sitting around waiting. Yep. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Our superintendents put a lot of effort and work into this. They don't want to cancel school. They understand it's stressful on parents. Then it's stressful on kids.
But it can't be about the buses. I mean, I understand that it is. I'm saying, in principle, it shouldn't be. Right? It should be about the kids.
Or more people need to drive bus, I think.
It's something. And I understand that, right? Because like you and I talked last week about business. Like churches are business, and you look at your law enforcement as a sheriff as a business in a lot of ways. There's a lot of parallels there. So I can understand that. But I don't know. It just seems silly. You got to give us a little bit more notice. And Dan, jeepers. 80-degree and
he can shovel his own driveway.
Well, that's right. Do you do that for him? Well, not anymore. Sorry, sucker.
I ain't today if it snows. I can tell him that.
Yeah. Hey, I saw Mike
Schaefer.
I want to get back to how cold maybe impacts law enforcement, but I saw that he had commented this morning. Did you see this? Mike Schaefer, Spooner Health CEO, receives 2 major awards. Did you see that?
I say they were sponsored by Spooner Health. No, I'm just kidding. They were.
Well, we are, but seriously, like that is legit. The honors.
We've always said Mike's legit.
What's that?
I mean, he deserves it. He runs a great business. His people love him. That's a sign of a great leader, and Mike Schaefer is one of them.
I 100% agree. Let me go back to the weather for a moment. So, how does this impact law enforcement, or does it not?
Oh,
If
well,
it's obviously you've talked about when we have 6 inches of snow, or maybe that 1 inch of snow the first time of the year, and it's all a little weird and more crashes and fender benders, etc. But does cold really impact law enforcement at all? Do you look at the weather and go, okay, hold on. Now remember, guys, it's going to be 40 below with wind chill. So what?
well, we changed our operations yesterday at noon yesterday until noon today. We changed a car broken down on the side of the road. Not a real high priority call. During this weather, it is a priority call. It takes priority over
Oh,
some of our other
sure.
calls. So we don't want someone broke down on the side of the road or that slid into the ditch. And so we prioritize our calls differently with the weather. So yes, priority calls have changed at the sheriff's department here. We send out an email saying these are now priority calls. So we expect immediate response on these type of calls. And so that's what I sent out yesterday afternoon.
Interesting.
So there is a change in, we look at crowd size, we look at weather size, we look at all these things when it happens. If there's a large event this weekend, when it talks about there's a large event in Chautauqua, the Chautauqua Winterfest is this weekend. We talk about that. When is the ice safe? Is the crowd? Can we park cars on the lake? It's all of that goes into weather related events. So when it's super cold like this, yes, priority calls are if there's a car broke down on the side of the road, that's you call 911, report that. We have an immediate response to that. So we break someone away if they're going to because that could be a life or death call sitting in your car with it not running for
I
10
see.
minutes. So
I see. I never thought about that. It's just a reprioritization. I mean, it's not like if someone's going to go to like a domestic or something. Hey, this person's
right.
beating. Well, hold on. There's a car on the side of the road. But do you add extra people on because of this?
No, we don't. We look at our staffing obviously every day when it comes to these, but no, our staffing is fine today. We have our transport officer, our paper service officer. We can redirect them from doing certain things if we need to, if the call volume increases, but we can always adjust our staffing. That's what my administrative team does every day.
All right. Well, hopefully stays. Everyone stays warm today. Weather is interesting. Also, the forecast. Yeah, poor Dirk. He gets all that stuff. All right, we have several things to talk about here today. I know we have a little bit shorter show this morning, so we have quite a few things to get to. We'll do that in 15 seconds after word from Spooner Health.
Spooner Health, compassion is at the center of everything we do. It's rooted in who we are and why we're here. It unites us as providers, neighbors, and as a community. Learn more at spoonerhealth.com.
All right, so I was thinking about you yesterday, as I often do,
course.
right? Of course, etc. And actually, Mike Schaefer, he'd probably appreciate this too. It's about hockey. I've tried to get into hockey, but hockey was great for me in the 90s, and then, I don't know, I just couldn't follow it. But I watched something. It was a film from 2018. It was called, I wrote it down, where is it?
The
The Russian Five. Yeah, so it's about the Detroit Red Wings. Remember Sergei Fedorov. I don't remember the other people's names. I think I wrote them down, but I can't pronounce most of them. About the Russian Five, and it was just a fascinating story. It wasn't just about hockey. It was about how they went over. I mean, that was during the time of, this would be the late 80s, where it's still Cold War stuff, and how they got these people out of Russia just to come here and how that changed hockey. It was a great documentary, and I wanted to share this with you. First of all, have you seen it? It's on
No, what's
Amazon
it
Prime,
on?
right? It's on Amazon
Okay.
Prime right now. So
All
I think
right,
a lot
I'm
of
gonna
people
watch
have
it.
that just because of the free shipping and stuff. But I watched it yesterday. Oh my goodness, it was an excellent film. And I Googled it this morning. And first of all, here's a real quick recap. I really do strongly suggest people watch this, regardless of the hockey aspect. But it says that in the late 1980s, the Detroit Red Wings worked to finally break their decades-long Stanley Cup drought by extracting players from the Soviet Union, and in the process, changed the way North American hockey is played even today. And in a random person review that I saw on Google, it said this is way more than a hockey movie. It's both a hockey film and a documentary. It includes elements of visionary leadership, both on and off the ice, making unpopular choices, losing after historic seasons, and the euphoria of winning. There are also lessons in humanity and the understanding that common citizens of two different nations may not understand or agree about why their respective governments operate as adversaries. And I loved that review of that because the next thing we'll be talking about is the election today. So first of all, I would highly recommend it. If you have any interest in sports, whether it's hockey or not, highly recommend The Russian 5 on Amazon Prime. Nice to see you broadening your horizons. Yeah, it was very, very good. It really was. But I really like those takeaways, right? The lessons in humanity, understanding common citizens of two different nations. Well, in this case, we can kind of look at like two different parties or two different views. And you and I have talked about that on the show before. When we talk politics, we usually talk like from the macro level. It's not Republicans are great, Democrats are great, or vice versa. That's not usually what we talk about. Highly recommend watching that, Fitzy. No kidding. I think you'd really enjoy it.
I will. I'll watch that. That sounds like a good movie.
Yeah. So that leads into, by the way, election day is today.
Yep, it is. No one knows it, and there won't be a big turnout. But yes, people are going to vote. There's only one thing on the ballot.
I checked this morning because last week we talked about, like, is there other races, like maybe school stuff or something. I checked my what's on my ballot.org or whatever it's called, put in our address, and yeah, it's just this. So if anyone's actually voted today, let us know. You don't say who you voted for, but that's just it. I mean, the turnout, I think, is going to be pretty low. Oh,
I'm sure it will be.
Right?
Plus, 19 below, and it's not a really big election.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. You're just narrowing down from 3 to 2.
Yeah, and we'll give our prediction sure to go wrong when we're finished here. But yeah, for anyone's running,
I don't know nothing about any of them, but
well, Brittany Kinzer, she was just on a show last Friday.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, but
yeah, of course you didn't. You weren't on it. She's essentially been endorsed by the Republicans, and she considers herself a blue dog Democrat, which is like a Democrat but votes conservative. So she's kind of the conservative pick, even though the understanding is that she isn't like a very far right conservative. I don't know. The other two are Jeff Wright. So this is the part that's interesting. He's endorsed by the teachers union. And then the incumbent, Jill Underly, who's endorsed by the Democratic Party. Now, when Jill Underly ran last time, she was endorsed by the teachers union and the Democratic Party. But now, Governor Evers won't endorse Jill Underly, and the teachers union doesn't endorse Jill Underly, which is really interesting. So, I don't know, kind of going back to, and since most people aren't probably going to vote, except for apparently Mike Schaefer, attaboy, Mike, who voted for that one. This kind of goes back to the Russian 5, about kind of those differences between the two. You see a lot of people who are, I'm voting for this person just because of this or that. That's perfectly fine. But I feel like there's a little lesson to be made there, right? Or a little connection.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I think there's a connection, but it's just these positions, and I said it last week on the show, are too political. We have to get, we can't be this political when it comes to something like this. It has to be, but now you've got a big split. Now 2 of those are going to win and move on. And I don't know. I mean, Jeff Wright's probably the man out on this one.
That's what I'm thinking, just because of Jill Underly is the incumbent. However, I didn't find this out until, apparently a lot of people know this, but I didn't find out until Brittany was on our show last Friday that Jill Underly just changed the scorecards, like changed and I think I even kind of joked, I'm like, so basically like one day I'm fat, because I am. And then all of a sudden the government just changes the weight to be obese. And I'm like, whoa, and all of a sudden today I'm skinny. That's fantastic. I love this. And that's essentially what she did, right? So I know a lot of people, or I know now that a lot of people weren't happy with that. I would think that Brittany has to get in because the other 2 are going to split the votes, right? If they're both the quote-unquote left or Democrat or right. I know it's nonpartisan, but only a name.
Right.
So I feel like it, but I first thought Jill Underly incumbent, she's probably going to make it through, but now I'm starting to think maybe, I don't know.
No? Jill Underly and Brittany, I don't know her. Jeff Wright's, I've seen a lot of people, and obviously I have friends that are teachers, and they're all supporting him. So,
they are. See, that's just it. Like, if teachers are supporting him, that's a big thing, right?
I would think so. I would think the teachers union is probably one of the larger unions in Wisconsin. Yeah, I don't know.
So who has more clout, the teachers union or the Democratic Party? Like, if you were a person going, I don't know, like you just said, I don't know anything about this Jeff Wright or that much about Jill Underly, honestly, or any of these people, which one carries more weight, the teachers union endorsement or the Democratic Party's endorsement?
I'll predict it this way. Who's got more money to spend? I would say it's the Democratic Party. So Jill Underley wins because more money was spent.
Well, the report came out last week that the Brittany Kinzer had raised like $300,000 to $500,000, and
Right.
everyone else would raise the other two were like 80 or 50,000 at the time.
Yeah.
So they're kind of tied there. I think
maybe.
the Democratic Party just dumped in a whole bunch of money, but that's not like directly to camp. That's hard money,
Right.
soft money stuff.
That's what's wrong about this whole thing. And
I know it.
but it's all going to depend on. Yeah, I don't know. So
It's just weird if the teachers the teachers union isn't endorsing the current DPI superintendent. That's just crazy to me. I mean, that's very telling.
Or is it because they didn't get what they wanted and now they're mad? So this guy's going to promise them something. It's no different than it's 12-hour shifts. Some police chiefs, sheriffs run on 12-hour shifts. Some people promise other things. So maybe I'm the sheriff and we have 12-hour shifts, but let's say we're switching to 10-hour shifts. The next election, the next sheriff comes and says, we're going back to 12 because I vote for 12. So a lot of people might say, well, that's better for my family life. So whether I'm a better leader or not, it all comes down to me, what I want. And so some people don't think of the big picture. Maybe the 10-hour shift saves the county $500,000. I have no idea. But I'm looking at it as a cost savings from the county, but the people are looking at it like, hey, this benefits me. I get every other weekend off, so I'm going for 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to, and I have no idea what the issue is. So I'm not saying Jeff Wright did promise them something. I'm not saying John did.
Yeah.
I'm just literally throwing a ball at the wall to see if it sticks here, and I have no idea. I haven't followed it. I should probably follow it.
Well, we will. I mean, we certainly will. But when it gets time to the April election, because this is just getting from 3 down to 2. But it's interesting because what you brought up, and I don't know if you purposely referenced this or that was just a random analogy. But that's what happened when my dad retired from being sheriff, and it was Mike Richter and our current sheriff now, Dennis Stewart. And Dennis Stewart had promised, I think it was 13-hour shifts, wasn't it? I think it was 12 or 13-hour shifts or something like
12.
Maybe it was 12. It was 12. Okay, but it was at 8, and then it went to 10 before the election anyway. And I know Dad was very much against it for XYZ reason. I don't remember what those were. Mike Schaefer was open to it, but not because of whatever. But that was promised. And by the way, the last I checked, still are not at 12-hour shifts. At least not as deputies. I think the jail and dispatch.
It wasn't Mike Schaefer though. You said Mike Schaefer.
Oh, I did. Oh, I'm sorry, Mike Schaefer. Sorry, Mike Richter. Sorry, Mike should run for sheriff.
Mike Schaefer should run for sheriff.
Sure. Why not?
As long as he runs in Washburn, I don't need any competition.
Right. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Elections are interesting. I think people are tired of politics. I think we're going to we'll see a spin here on politics, and people are going to want not stuff to be so political because it's very political right now. I don't know. It's interesting.
It is.
We like it.
Well, and speaking of superintendents and school closings and elections, Todd, I can't remember his last name, the Shell Lake superintendent. We put out some information from them a few weeks ago. So their referendum didn't pass. There's all those referendums for schools last election in November. That one didn't get approved, but I think it's now going to be not approved, but going to be on a ballot. I think it may be in April already. I'm not really sure. So he had asked to come on the show, not this Friday, but next Friday. He'll be on the show, and I'll make sure I ask him the politics part and then the referendum part, but also the school closings, going back to our original topic. Because what? That's just dumb. Anyway, I found this morning. Did you know Wisconsin is the only state where voters elect the top education official, but there is no state board of education? I didn't know we're the only state.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that gives the person who runs for Department of Public Instruction broad authority to oversee education policy, which includes dispersing money to schools and managing teacher licensing. Have we ever had a teacher on the show?
Not on our show, I don't think.
I don't think so. I don't think I have either.
Because they're usually teaching at 9:30 or 8:30 in the morning on Tuesdays.
Well, we'll have to wait. Maybe if there's a 2-hour delay, then we can have them on a Tuesday morning.
You make the show like superintendent. They say, "Hey, can you have a 2-hour delay on a Tuesday so we can have a teacher on our show?" Yeah, we could probably shoot for the summer instead of the 2-hour delay.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Duh. All right. Hey, did you see? We put up a press release last week from the Barron County District Attorney. Our headline was Barron County DA declines criminal charges in Lake. How do you say that? Pokegama boat crash.
Right.
I didn't see. I looked it up, and you had a press release about an incident at Pokegama, but it wasn't this one.
No, I don't think we did a press release on this one because there was
not on this one. I couldn't find it, but I did when I just put it on the website to our search thing, and I just put in whatever it's called, Pokegama. It brought up a press release that you had done, but it wasn't this one. So I was surprised. Like, I didn't even know what happened until I saw this press release from the district attorney. I'm sure you saw it as well. For
I
people
did not
who didn't
see this. I didn't talk to my rec team about this. I'm sure my rec team knows about it. This was handled by a rec division. This was 2 boats that collided. I remember the incident. There was no injuries, and I believe that's why there's no charges. And they were cited for offenses, driving offenses. No alcohol was involved. This is strictly basically an accident. It could have been worse, but people were paying attention. There was 2 boats that collided in Pokegama. So I believe that's why there was no charges, because there was no alcohol and no intent. Wasn't recklessness, something like that.
Yeah, it was just interesting that I didn't see a story about it before. First of all, no kidding. I'm really liking. He's been putting out several press releases in the last few. I think we've done like 3 of them that he sent out in the last several months about some stories. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? The district attorney. I mean, he's the only district attorney. Well, actually, I think Aaron Marco in Washburn has done 1 or 2, but it's not very often that we get press release from district attorneys saying this is what my decision was.
Well, and I think you've seen them in the non-charging decisions, and this is why we're not charging.
Yes.
Or this is why. I mean, I just saw in Eau Claire, the Eau Claire district attorney released one on an officer-involved shooting, officer use of force. This is why we're not charging the officer. This is why we're not charging the person. This is why. And I think it's important for people to realize that thought process, review of information, review of the case, review of the diagrams, review of whatever goes into all of these crashes. We have these reconstructed crashes, and they're able to say, well, the car was only going 45 and a 30, and a 40. So they weren't excessively speeding. They weren't driving recklessly. They weren't intoxicated. All that goes into, because accidents happen. They shouldn't. I wish they'd pay more attention, but accidents happen. It's a reality in life. And so, then the district attorney has to make it. You got to have intent to commit a crime before you can get charged with something. So I think it helps people understand the process. Some people don't like them because they think somebody should be charged because someone died, and people there's still punishment. They're just not charged with a crime because you got to be able to prove to a jury of your peers that you intentionally pulled out of the intersection to kill that person. And that's tough to do.
That's very tough to do. Oh my goodness. Look at this, Fitzy. Amanda. Coldy doing his against tail. I haven't seen boy. That's awesome, Amanda. Oh my god, she used to comment and watch our show live all the time, and then her, her schedule changed.
And she went and got a job, and then
jeepers. No, I'm really glad that he does it, and I'm just assuming that the district attorney is doing these press releases because he's following your lead for putting out press releases. I mean, seriously, you put out more than most, and not saying that everyone should do more. It's that's not my point. But you do a lot, and I always like seeing that stuff. And I think the one you're referring to, I got that late yesterday, so it's on our schedule to post today. I think it was a Chippewa County, actually.
No, it was Eau Claire.
Was it Eau Claire? Are you sure? I swear that I have one from officer-involved shooting, wasn't it?
It was. I think there was one in Eau Claire, too, though.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh,
I think
here's
you're right.
one.
There was a Chip one. And there's one.
Yeah, please see attached press release regarding for officer-involved shooting in town of Lafayette on December 21st. It
might have been a SWAT member, and that's why the Eau Claire did it. He might have been a SWAT member.
Got it. This is from a Jody Gobrecht, operations manager, Chippewa County District Attorney's Office. So, yeah, we got that sent to us, but we didn't get time to put it up yesterday, so we'll have it up today. But so do you think that's kind of where that's probably the best direction to go for a district attorney?
I think transparency is always important. We've said that.
What I mean is the putting out the press release when you decide not to charge, because I think that's brilliant. Because first of all, if you're going to charge someone, let media do their job, right? We see that it is, and I'll report on it that this person's being charged, blah blah blah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly right. But I think that's really healthy. I think it's a really good idea, not just for transparency, but I think you kind of stave off some of the what is our district attorney doing? Well, you can complain about it, but you're probably not going to call the district attorney. Well, now you have something right there that explains, here's why we're not charging this person with a crime, still getting a punishment, but not a crime. Here's why. I think that's really, really smart.
Yep. I do too. I mean, I think it's important to be transparent. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all I had that I wrote down. What else you got going on down there?
Not much. So I'm going to be off the next couple of days. My wife's having some surgery, so I'm going to be off. And so, so someone else is going to have to run this ship for a couple of days. And then
I can do it.
Yeah, that's it. I will appoint Ben Dryden as the temporary sheriff.
Mike Schaefer, Dirk Miller, everyone on this show right now, just can you deputize us during a live show? Everyone that has commented, just deputize all of us and we'll take care of it.
Hold up your right hand.
Wait, that's not a thing though, right? You see that on, remember old Westerns? They would do the, all right, well, raise your hand, here's a badge, and I just deputize you.
We'll call it the sheriff posse, yeah. I think I can still do that. I'm not sure, though.
Could you actually do that?
I don't know. I think I can.
You gotta find
I'm a constitutional officer. I can do anything I want. That's what people tell me all the time.
I can do what I want, which is largely true, yes. See, Mike's down. It's fantastic. All right, well, if no one else has any questions or topics about anything, then we can wrap up early. What do you have going on this week?
Nothing. I'm just going to go. Like I said, my wife's got surgery tomorrow. Having some neck surgery. And
we'll keep her in thoughts and prayers.
Appreciate that. And so I'll be off for a couple of days, and then she'll be better, and we'll be all good to go for next week.
So how does that work with your chief deputy? I mean, you're always, as a sheriff, it's 24/7.
Right.
So you'll still be available, but then again, there may be some times where you're just not. Right. So do you have a conversation with chief deputy and say, hey, you may be fielding a lot more calls and making decisions? And
right. I'll put an email out before I leave today, like, hey, if obviously any emergency, let me know, but call him first. Don't call me because I'm not going to be available.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Prayers for Holly, and good morning, Renee. Unfortunately, we're wrapping up, Renee. Nice to see Renee. Oh, my goodness.
Everybody wants something to do on this cold day, so they're watching.
No kidding. No kidding.
So just stay warm. What do you got going on this week?
I don't know. What's pins for paws? Bowling, right?
Yeah, that's.
Bowling alley.
That's at the bowling alley.
I see it now.
There you go. Good job.
What drug bust?
I don't know about a drug bust either.
Just say you're welcome.
You bet. Yeah, no problem. Glad we can do it.
Yeah. Anything else you need, just let us know.
Yeah, and me, Dirk. Thank you. I need some prayers too. I got to be the nurse.
And honestly, that is hard for guys. I'm just saying.
Right.
That is a little, it just doesn't come natural to us.
I'm going to need a vacation next week.
Meat raffle, drop ticket baskets, 50-50 raffle, 1 at 1 and 1 at 3. What is that for?
Go.
Oh, is that for the pins for paws thing?
Pins and paws. So head down to the bowling alley.
So what do you do? You go bowling and you save a dog or something?
Well, I'm sure they raise money to help the dogs. But yeah, you got to hit a strike. If you don't get a strike,
they kill it right there. They just euthanize it. Yep, sorry.
We should probably stop now.
Okay, that's probably a good idea. So when we don't have something to talk about, this is the kind of things that we get into, and then we get into trouble. So,
it's for the little barn rescue there. So that's great. They need the money. Go out and support them at the Rice Lake Bowling Alley.
Little Barn Rescue is what?
It's just outside of Rice Lake. They do a lot for animals. So.
Oh, a lot for animals. So it sounds like you don't really know either. Perfect. I don't know, do stuff for animals. I don't know. What do you want me to do? What do I tell you?
Rescue dogs. What else is there?
Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah, no, we have a county board meeting tonight.
What's on the agenda? Anything?
I haven't looked in a couple of days. Yeah, we're going to have a closed session about something. That'll be interesting. But, of course, closed sessions I can't talk about anyway. But, there'll be a few good things on the thing tonight. I'm really starting to enjoy it a little bit more.
Good.
Right? 'Cause remember, like 6 months in, I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's just stupid. But I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more. I really am. And then this week, I don't think I have a show on Thursday. Friday, I'm going to be meeting at our county board. I think Dave Wilson's going to go with me and with our IT director to do a test run of our, as you and I have talked about in the past, about getting our county board meetings live. So not on Dryden. I mean, like a YouTube channel, or you can click a link to go to like Zoom or something. We're kind of working that out. So this will be our second kind of test through this Friday. But then next week, of course, we'll do our show on Tuesday. And then I think Romaine Quinn is on. Is that the last Thursday of the month? I think so, Romaine. And then Shellick Superintendent on that Friday. So busy week next week. But this week, you're in it for the money. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's not why I'm on the board.
Right.
Yeah, Romaine. I think Romaine is going to be on next Thursday. So, all right. Yeah, that's all I got, man. What?
He is now, anyway.
Yeah. Exactly right. All right, cool. Hey, thanks, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. For Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald, I'm Ben Dryden. You've been watching The Big Show, Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy, presented by Professional Exteriors and Interiors. Ben, have a show with an officer from Polk, and that's what's up with all the fires lately. Wow, lots of fire. Okay. I mean, is there like a...
I don't think there's any.
Well, now I kind of want to know. I'll have to call Brent. Find out. And what's the cop going to say? I don't know. Yeah, that's. I was talking to someone last week. You know, those you get weekenders and advertisers, all the things that come in your mail, like on Thursdays or Fridays to your mailbox, or Saturdays. Right. It's just all ads and stuff. And I'm like, well, nobody really reads them. It just kind of goes in a paper bag, like for us, and so we can use it to start fires. Well, that didn't go very well because they thought I meant starting fires. I'm like, no, in the backyard, like for like local fires. Anyway, with 20 years of experience, this locally owned and operated business provides quality work both on the inside and on the outside of your home or business. That'd be Professional Exteriors and Interiors. Like Fitzy and I, they believe it's the little things that make a big difference. So give them a call today, see what they can do for you. 715-520-2271. We'll see all you back here next Tuesday for another exciting episode of Positive Tuesday with Ben and Fitzy. So until then, thank you for watching, and as always, have a blessed day.